and to our children. When he arrested Anthony for assaulting this 3-year-old in Atlanta, when he allowed him to plead to a misdemeanor, when he knew his business involved constant contact with children, then he doesn't follow up to make sure that he fulfills his probation. He probably didn't. There's no indication he did. Now the question is, do we have another career case in the making? Prosecutor Layton said, if the pedophile registers in 10 days, the pedophile Anthony, he won't prosecute him for failing to do it when he first came into the state 9 or 10 months ago, notwithstanding that he lied and tried to hide it when he made out his application. What's that all about? Can you do this? Hey, play that first tape, will you please?
Genesee County prosecutor says that Julius Anthony failed to register when he moved to Michigan to work for the Flint School District. Anthony resigned last month after a background check revealed he was charged with child molestation in Fulton County, Georgia in 1996. 4 years later, he pled guilty to a lesser charge. Now, according to the prosecutor, a notice has been sent to Anthony's Flint address requiring him to register within 10 days. The penalty for not registering as a sex offender, 4 years in prison.
Now, this guy, keep in mind, this Anthony isn't a sympathetic character. He's a pedophile. And the prosecutor has given him a pass. This guy assaulted a 3-year-old boy. Clear definition of a pedophile. You think he'd stop with only one? No one would do this without being a full-blown pedophile. You know, if you get a shot at a pedophile to put him in prison, don't pass it up. These guys never can be rehabilitated. I think if there's one crime in which there should be life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, it shouldn't be just first-degree murder, it should be for pedophiles. Why would you ever defer to someone like this? You know, the prosecutor's action, he's got a lay-down case on this guy. Comes in here 10 months ago, doesn't file with the sexual register list, 4-year felony. Now, what makes you realize that he knew what he was doing? He was hiding it when he made his application out and lied on his application, whether he had any kind of a criminal record. You know, you just let this guy walk, you know, you may be turning loose a sexual deviant on another unsuspecting community in another state by not pursuing the prosecution of this guy. At least if you prosecuted him, his conviction of a felony will be on the FBI's National Felony Conviction Register, whatever that is, and people, if you check a criminal record, will pop up. But if this, many states don't, some states, I don't know how many there is, but there's some of them that don't have a requirement of a sexual register list. There's no requirement to register in some states. I think they'll eventually all have it, but right now there are some that don't. So when you check for a background check on somebody, you may only get the felony. You probably won't get the list of all the people who are on sexual register lists all over the country in those states that have that requirement. But if you convict him of a felony, he's on there. If it goes to another state, they ought to pick it up if they do a record check on him, and I'm sure they would. You know, and then we have the career case all over again if that happens. And Anthony's deviation goes on unchecked. You know, this is the second pedophile case I disagree with Leighton on, and how he's handled it. Remember the Mac McCready case we mentioned on this program? We brought it up. We were the only ones that really raised it here about a year ago. McCready was assaulting a 9-year-old girl, and this was over a 4-year period. Leighton's office allowed him to plead guilty to a misdemeanor when he probably committed over 50, 75 life-term crimes against this child. McCreary was a full-blown pedophile. You know, I really have trouble criticizing David Leighton because I like him first, and secondly, I think he's going to make a good prosecutor. But he has to learn to give sexual assaults on children greater priority. Now here's a good example of what Anthony thinks about this offer. He won't be prosecuted if he registers within 10 days. Can you play that next tape by David Custer, please?
And I'm Katie O'Mara. Anthony recently resigned as the district's director of curriculum after his background check revealed a child molestation charge involving a 3-year-old in Georgia. Well, tonight, TV5's David Custer went looking for answers and has a story from Flint.
Yeah, you guys, the announcement was made today by the prosecutor that Anthony has 10 days to register as a sex offender, and right here at his apartment there's a lot of suspicious activity going on. That moving truck right there has been loaded up by a group of friends. We did talk to them, we confronted them. They would not say whether or not it was Anthony's apartment that was being emptied out, but there was a lot of suspicion, and they just